social distancing queen on her bed. She just came out of her travel case. And she's going to make herself comfortable on the corner of her bed. Now, back to the Mayhem Twins. No, 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 don't come into your sister's room. You do not need to come in and bug your sister. Just wait, she's at the bed. Wait. Hello, everybody, it's me. It's the Nutty Professor and one of the Mayhem Twins who is, as always, wriggling. Now, look, you have an urgent appointment? Do you have somewhere to go? You can't help your father do a podcast? I've been told the people want to see you rather than me anyway. They go, the Mayhem Twins are furry and cute, and we want to see them. Okay, you got an appointment. You got something pressing to do. Wriggle. Go. Hello, everybody. It's me, the Nutty Professor. I'm back. Now, as usual these days, podcast began with Agatha, the social distancing queen, in her room. She had been in her travel box, which she sits when she's in her room. I always keep it open. But she saw the laptop and she came out onto her bed So we had a little footage of her, and then you saw the Mayhem Twins waiting outside her door to try to get into there and create some mayhem. And then you saw one of the twins, I think it was Finn. Really hard for even me as the father to tell them apart. But you saw Finn on my lap. Now, a quick update here. This is approximately 14 months clear. I mean, a couple of days. So let's call this the 14-month clear podcast. The last one was a couple of weeks ago or so. And since then, the news is basically good. I am still clear, but the cravings, the pull in my framework, pull and push, the pull has been very strong at times. Using my other metaphor, the werewolf is still alive, it's weak, but it's kind of, it's getting a second wind at times, and it's straining against the chains, and it's kind of, maybe, I'm hoping it's the last gasp of the werewolf. Just going, you've kept me hungry for 14 months now. Feed me something. I need a binge. I don't want a fry pan. I don't want to just go out for dinner. And I'm like going, your dinner is the best you get. You're not getting binge. There's just there's too many pushes against it. I've got the podcast, and I've got mainly the babies and Agatha, and wanting to publish my work and all of that stuff. Now, someone I met, and addiction comes up because I do talk about my addiction, and even people that, I have relatively casual conversations with, I send them the link to my addiction podcast. And there's a chap who I think has been clean for 35, 40 years. I think his main thing was booze, but, he's been clean a very long time. And when I said the cravings have been really strong after the 1 year mark, he wasn't particularly surprised. I mean, no one's surprised. My analyst is not surprised. People go, yeah, that's to be expected. After the 1 year point, there is that feeling of, anticlimax and what next. And I've done so much, and it's been so hard, and I've made a year. I've made, 13 months. I've made 13 and a half months. It's like, I think I deserve a little binge. It's Werewolf going, just a little binge. I just want a little binge. And I'm like going, just a little binge. And this chap that I was talking to, he was saying, and he says something that resonates with me because I've experienced it myself, and I have written about it before, and I might have talked about it in another podcast. But the whole thing with taking a break, and he said, if you take a break for a year or 2 years or whatever, and you quote fall unquote, or you quote relapse unquote, or whatever term you want to use, you go back to the addictive substance, or process, or whatever it is. He goes, it's as if there was no break. You are right back where you left off. And I have had the experience of that, particularly with gambling. I left gambling for many years, went into a casino as a controlled burn, supposedly, but I was right back where I started. I was there like 14 hours not being able to walk out, and I was just right back where. And even with the drinking and the other stuff, other substances, I was clean for over 20 years. I was okay, and then, but things were a bit different then. I was working back then, and other stuff was going on, and I was busy. And during that 20 years, there were other addictions such as gambling, on and off. Came and went. But substances, booze, and other substances, I was completely clean for 20 years. But once I started, right back again. And there was a 4-year struggle, and now I am almost 14 months clear. So, for now, and the last couple of days, pull has been very strong. But the good news is the pushes are still stronger than the pulls. And the main pushes, of course, you've just seen my three kids, my three wonderful, wonderful, wonderful kids, and also the COVID dangers out there. And I have decided, for now, I'm not going to take the vaccine, because if I take a vaccine, and people warn me about the AstraZeneca, some people are saying it's safe and taking it, some people are not, some people are going blood clots, whatever. But I think my reasoning on this is more, if I take a vaccine, it's going to make it easier for me to go, I can have a little binge because I don't have to worry about COVID dangers anymore. I have the vaccine, So for now, I do practice, mainly quarantine. I'm mainly home with the kids. I go out now. Patios are open. I do go out to eat occasionally, but I wear my mask. Go out, and everybody's wiping everything in this distance. So I'm not going to take a vaccine for now. If I take a vaccine, I'll probably still stay clear, and the pushes, are still probably going to be stronger than the pull. But why increase the pushes? For now, I think I'm going to stay away from the vaccine. So I got the COVID dangers, I got the babies, I got the list, all the other things that, wanting to publish, all the other things that I've been talking about before. And the podcast. I mean, at this point, having kind of gone public, I don't have a lot of viewers with the self-taped ones. I'm not even bothering holding up the white thing today. We don't really need it, But with the self-taped ones, I don't get a lot of viewers. But as I said before, I do these mainly for myself and the very few friends I share it with, and maybe a couple of strugglers accidentally come onto the site, and it might something I say may give them some perspective. Even though, as I keep saying, this is personalized. My system, I developed it for myself. And that actually leads me to another thing. Yesterday, I did end up doing some more volunteer driving for the cat shelter, and I picked up a couple of cats from foster homes, drove them to the shelter vet, which is kind of out of town, but it's a good vet. So took them there, waited in the car while they had their checkups and their booster shots, and then brought them at their fosters, and they're very sweet cats sitting in their cases at the back. I usually talk to cats when I'm driving them. Yesterday, I wasn't in a very talkative mood, but it kind of helped. But as I've said before, that worked for me, being such a cat person. And when the cravings were really strong, when I first started going clean over a year ago, I started volunteering. Pandemic had started, and it really helped me. And it's sort of, in Freud's terms, that whole thing is, rather than id, that is more ego or superego. Yeah, you're helping other people, or in this case, cats. I kind of prefer cats anyway. So kind of helping, and you're kind of helping the foster parents, the humans as well. So the whole thing is that it's a good rechanneling. It's more superego, ego stuff than id stuff, and it kind of works nicely. But there was one story I wanted to tell. One of the fosters that I picked, a cat up from yesterday, was actually the foster that I picked up a cat from just over a year ago. The very first time when I came up with this idea of volunteering volunteering for a cat shelter and found out they needed drivers. So that very first time, my first assignment for this cat rescue shelter was to pick up a cat. And again, I'm going to provide aliases, pseudonyms, protect identity. This cat has now got a permanent home, and we don't want to remind him of his past, But this cat, we'll call him Venom, not his real name. And usually, when they get forever homes, people change their foster names anyway. But we'll call him Venom, the very first cat I picked up Venom. I took him to the vet for, he had some dental work and he needed some checkups. So I took him, I brought him back, my very first assignment, and then I was supposed to take him the next week for the final follow-up, and then there was a forever home, adoptive home lined up for him. It was all done online because of the pandemic, so people see prospective cats online. So all of that was ready to go, and I talked to the shelter coordinator later in the week, and I said, do I have to pick up Venom next week, Wednesday, for the follow-up dental appointment or the vet? And she goes, he's gone missing, and he was kind of AWOL, and they couldn't find him. At first they thought he was hiding somewhere in the house, and they're looking everywhere, and they're looking in the basement, and they're looking here, they're looking there, they couldn't find him. And then they thought he must have snuck out, He wanted to go back to the streets, but at least he had his dental work done, and he had been fixed. And then it came up, the topic came up just a couple of days ago. They go, did anyone ever find Venom? And then she goes, it was quite a story. You know what? He had gone into a hole in the wall, and he was living in the walls. And the foster's roommate spotted him one night. He'd come out of the hole, and he was trying to open a packet of Temptations on the kitchen counter. And but he ran back into the hole, and weeks they couldn't trap him. He was living in the walls of the house, and I don't know what he was eating. Maybe he came out to eat at night when, nobody was, people were sleeping, or, he was catching mice. I don't know what he was doing for water. Weeks he was there, and he survived. It was a happy ending to the story. He did survive. They managed to catch him in the end. They blocked off the hole in the wall is sealed up, and he's got a forever home. He lives now in a condo which has no holes in the walls. So it's a happy ending for Venom, but he gave them a lot of trouble. So anyway, I'm going to come back with a part 2 of this next week. Keep you updated, and got some more cat stories I'm going to tell, and some bedtime stories for cats, and an update about it. And so far today, the poll has been relatively under control. So for now, I'm going to say from the Nutty Professor and the Nutty Professor's cat family, Mayhem Twins, and Social Distancing Queen, bye for now!